What up, y'all? It's your boy, Nick of Time. I'm about to interview one of my old friends from high school, Austin Scott. He's one of the first people who I was like, maybe black people aren't so bad. One, and two, he was the first person I played with that was better than me. And I started this early. He said he's on his way, but I started this early so I can. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Welcome to Nick's Infinite Podcast. It's my friend Austin Scott, the one who taught me how to be a D lineman back in 9th grade. Were you a senior my freshman year?
I was a senior when you were a sophomore. Yeah, y'all were part of that class that we. I remember when we were 1 and 9 when I was a sophomore. When I was in your position, and from the outside looking in, I know we had better coaches than which y'all. Y'all came in at the time we had actual coaches, and we kind of turned it around and y'all finished that job. You know what I'm saying? But that was around 2015. Yeah.
If you could do one thing for all of infinity, what would it be?
If I could do one thing for the rest of my life, no matter what, I would coach and play the game for my rest of my life, man. This game has shown me. I mean, shit. In 2 different cities, man. I've seen this game, give people life. I've seen it give people purpose. I've seen it change communities. Like, when I was in college, man, we were the first team to be the SEC team out of the Sun Belt.
What college you go to?
South Alabama. Yeah, I went to the Jaguars. I witnessed a lot of first round or first draft picks from that school. We had Mardi Gras parades for us. So I lived the movie star life for about 1.5 years, man, when I was a freshman. And, it did one of 2 things for me, man. It let me know the life I wanted to live in high school, when I wanted to be that guy. It told me that where I was at, it told me the new Austin couldn't last. The old Austin was where I got. The always in the weight room, always looking for advice, always, learning something, reading books, not partying. That was the Austin that got to college. When I got to college, the identity changed. It was fun, but I mean, I was partying with seniors. I was partying with, whoever came through the city. And Mobile has a lot of NFL players, but it was just the fact that I was getting off my high horse, and I had a conversation with my coach actually. So I know you remember Coach, which D-line coach we had? Abernathy?
Yeah.
Who was there when I left?
I don't remember.
Okay, you good.
I don't think we had. I'm pretty sure Abernathy was there my first year coming to Sparkman.
Yeah.
I don't remember anybody from the staff of 4.
Yeah.
It's like they ain't come talk to nobody. It's kind of just Sparkman.
Yeah, I know.
See, it's funny, back then things were very sectionalized. Like now, middle schoolers, high schools be all over the place, knowing people, and like my middle schoolers be going to high school workouts, and it's like, when did that start happening?
Supposed to be, exactly, yeah. Like I said, man, so my experience, I had a coach, Coach Turner, Brian Turner, man. He's the one that found me in high school. I went to a camp in 2014. And he and somebody else I went down in the camp with, he gave us opportunity. So when I realized that, the difference between my college and high school coach was he knew they pay attention to you, but they pay attention to what type of person you are to the team. More so than high school where I just need a big guy, I need a physical guy, I need this. It's more than that. Yeah. And so when I was jacking up in freshman year, he pulled me into the office. And he told me, one, I mean, you're a walk-on. You think we need you? Yeah. What are you doing? Type thing. Put me in my place. And he was like, I know where you come from. I know you're a grinder. I watched you play. I watched you, your grades slip this year. And, what do you really think you're here for? And do you think we need you? And that was a conversation I had with my strength coach as well. And my strength coach actually played for the Tennessee Valley Vipers. Crazy enough, I didn't know that until second year in. But so yeah, essentially, man, he gave me opportunity. He was like, I'm gonna tell you right now, you got a year you get your grades right. I had literally a 1.7 GPA. So
You
I
were
had to
really
climb that
partying.
back. I'm talking about I was partying from Wednesday to Sunday, man. You know, I was taking people with me to my dorm room, to apartments. It's crazy, but like I said, I lived that lifestyle to understand it, you know, to cross off my bucket list.
Yeah.
So when I did that, you know, that turnaround was good for me because now I knew my power. I knew I could do that. I knew if I got free time, I could have, you know, a month where I could do that and then get back to focusing. So it made it easier for me to kind of enjoy it, you know, because that wasn't, like I said, what I lived in high school. So yeah.
See, for me, it was a little bit kind of the opposite, really, because like I was good all through high school.
Oh,
Really,
yeah.
I was good all the way through college, because like I got a girlfriend freshman year of college, and she kind of cut me from being out and about.
Of course.
And then,
That's how you're supposed to do it.
but then I never got a chance at football at UAB. So then I just kind of, I was like, I don't want to leave all my friends, my girlfriend, my grades. Like I had stuff rolling at UAB, so I was like, I'll just stay here. Hopefully, I'll get a chance at football. Never got a chance.
Yeah.
How'd you end up at Tennessee?
So I'm actually in North Carolina now. So you good, but yeah, what happened was I was staying at home after I graduated from college. You know, hanging around, working out with my guys from South Alabama that came with me. You know, Khalid McDonald from James Clemens. And I got a job offer. I had a job offer to do sales. Literally just AT&T sales, selling cell phones, you know, internet, whatever. And my dad was like, you know, my dad works for Lockheed. He was more set on me getting a government job. I told my dad, I was like, man, you know, my mom's from Baltimore, my dad's from down here, so I was like, I want to be somewhere where there's opportunity more than is here. You know, I want to create something and create myself, honestly. And he told me, you know, go with the structure. Don't ever go somewhere and just be stuck. You know what I'm saying? But I got the job offer. I went up there, actually staying in the extended stay. Not even lying. I'll tell you that part. I stayed in extended stay for 2.5 months. I stocked up enough money off my sales when I first learned it, and I got about like 5,000. I bought an apartment, and then, you know, from there I started living in Raleigh. Man, I started enjoying, you know, more opportunities, more diverse people, just learning about different cultures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I learned a little bit of Spanish, staying up there. And so, you know, I loved it. So what happened to me was I was working there, and then I got back into working out. You know, obviously I won't stop training.
Yeah.
And at the gym, I met a guy that I played against in college. Crazy enough.
Yeah, it's
Right?
crazy.
Yeah, crazy small world. So, you know, one of the things I did is I went to the gym and we started working out together. And when we started working out together, he told me that, you know, through weeks of working out, he was like, I think you're a fucking beast. He's like, well, like, you stopped playing? Like, where'd you play at? You know, afterward. And I was like, you know, I never had a pro day. I never went anywhere to try it because I graduated during COVID. So I didn't even get to walk.
COVID messed up a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of shit, man. A lot of shit. So, you know, I didn't get the opportunity. And he was trying out for the CFL. His name was Sterling Johnson. Matter of fact, that's his name. And played at Coastal Carolina. He was playing the CFL, and then after that look that he got from the CFL, he got an offer from Arena Team. So he put my name in the mix for me.
That's a real friend.
A real friend, yeah, you know. So like I said, the networking and just always value the people I met, you know, it really helped me, like yourself. So, you know, I what I did was I took that opportunity and I basically went to the tryout, and they had my name in the pool. I went to the tryout and they had my number already written on my tryout shirt. They knew who I was, you know, so it was a good tryout. And then from there, I got, you know, from that practice with that team, I got attention from the Carolina Predators. So that's when I started playing with them.
How's that been?
So first year with the Predators, man, it was a roller coaster, man. I had a really big, you know, chip in my shoulder. I told myself if I ever got a chance to play again, I would kiss the field. Seriously.
Did you?
I kissed it, right on the turf. As soon as I got out there, I kissed the field, and they needed some more D linemen. They had some experienced people, but they weren't really talented
Yeah.
like that.
They knew what they were doing, but they weren't.
They weren't hungry either.
Yeah.
Like they had guys that were missing practice. Yeah. So I came there and
Was it like high school, middle school practice where you're running all the time, or was it kind of just learning the drills and going through stuff?
arena practice it's a good question. It was more running. It's a lot more run fits with D-line because when you're playing arena, you're really only going 50 yards, but you have an angle to hit and you have to hit it that second. Yeah. You don't have 3 seconds to get to the quarterback anymore. So you got to hit, your dip and rips got to be that much faster. Your get off has to be that much faster. Your hips got to be that much faster. And to some adjusting, I didn't even really play much until I got to game 3. And then they put me in at linebacker. I played linebacker.
You this size at linebacker?
Yeah. Yeah, 255. So they had me playing linebacker. I did some good run fits, but I missed some plays just by not knowing arena. You can't blitz outside the tackles. So I was trying to blitz.
That's one of the rules?
Yes, that's arena rule. Even to the upper leagues, if you watch, AF1 or IFL, you can't do that. So I was trying to blitz outside, got flagged like a motherfucker. And when I got flagged, they pulled me out and lost my confidence. I told them, like, listen, I played D-line. I played D-line in college. I know y'all looking at me at my size and my speed, but, like, I can play D-line. Give me a chance.
What size people do they have at D-line?
They had some 6'7", 6'5". They got a lot of guys from HBCU, so, like, Central, Livingstone College, stuff like that were big guys. Yeah. And so they saw me, and they were like, you'd be a beast at backer because you're a lineman. You probably lay everybody out, which made sense.
Backer needs more speed, though.
Yeah, they do. But I mean, I got faster. I was like at the 20-yard dash that I hit in.
They do 20s instead of 40s.
Exactly because of arena. So they did that. So what they did is they'll half the time. So if you made like a 2.5, you probably run a 4.5. They'll half it. So I ran a 2.6, and I was the fastest lineman time they had at that camp, and so they put me there for that reason. And so after that, they finally let me play. Let me play DN for 2 games. This is the crazy part. So they let me play DN for 2 games. Last game was against Peach State. The game before that was against I want to say some Southern Georgia team. Mm-hmm. I got a DN. Southern Georgia. I had 3 tackles for loss. I had 2 pass deflections. And I felt confident. And they was like, okay, you added to what we needed. So let's see what you got. I'll give you one more shot. I'll try you one more time, but that's it. I was like, okay. So I went out there. They had this new D lineman from Nevada that they were wanting to play. They kept talking about that. And then I got in for 3 or 4 plays, and I was pushing it. So actually they had a tackle that played at Georgia State. I pushed him so hard in the backfield that he folded over his face, over his back.
Full scorpion?
Full scorpion. Dang. Like, he literally folded. So I folded him 4 or 5 times, man. And and then I had sacked the quarterback, or I grabbed the quarterback and had 3 assisted sacks, and I had 4 regular sacks. I had a couple tackles for loss at the end, and this was before 3 sacks before halftime. So then after halftime, I had the tackles. Those 3 sacks, man. At halftime, they were telling me, like, listen, man, we're in this game. We haven't beat this team in 6 years. We can do this. They were uplifted. We were hyped. And they were like, hey, Austin, man, like, this shit feels good to see you hit. Like, you are literally throwing his ass everywhere. They were telling me that. Like, you are manhandling him. You need to keep doing that. Like, just stay on him because you're making it a game. Mm-hmm. Right? So that happened. I got those couple sacks, and then at the end of the game, literally, they needed me to play offensive line. Mm-hmm. Those that knew me all the whole before I met you, I played offensive line all the way from freshman year until actually I played offensive line all the way through middle school and into high school, and then when I got to sophomore year, I played varsity guard with Cody Watson and all them. Yeah. And then I got transferred to D-line my junior year and then senior year when you were there. So I knew how to play O-line. So when I got out there, they had me at left guard, and they had me against they had this one Samoan kid that's still there at Peach State that was like the number 1 sack leader. Mm. So they put me against him because he was getting back there. So I got over there, blocked him up, shoved him off, moved his hips where he couldn't get anywhere. And then he tried to get around me for this, like, it was literally 12 seconds on the clock, right? Mm-hmm. and we're on the 20, which is right above the 50 in real football, if you want to say, like 45. And we're there. I block him. He goes around me. Quarterback steps up for one last second throw. He tries to come back before he throws it. I hit him before he even touches him and makes him fall on the ground. So I pancake him while he's trying to. He doesn't see me. He's hot. He's mad. Just talking trash. Just, all that stuff.
Should have watched his back.
Right. Quarterback throws the ball. Boom. My teammate Desmond Scott, he catches it with 2 seconds left, and we win the game 12-8. We had 6 points.
Pretty nice.
So after that, man, that's where the trust and relationship came, and now I can call them. We're talking about sponsorships. We talk all the time now. Like they trust me.
What's the? Do you feel any difference between college and arena besides it being arena?
Yeah. The biggest thing, man. To be honest, I'll be honest. I mean, with most arena structures, it's official, but college still has more grit. I will say college was more creative, new ideas, new moves every other week. More guys that were coming in hungry, less than people that knew that they could play.
So it's kind of just like a bunch of people just kind of
just trying to
playing, not really.
Yeah, like not.
I'm trying to crush you.
Right.
Yeah.
You have about maybe 5 or 6 people on arena teams that are trying to move up, or go out somewhere where they can play outside again.
Yeah.
So it's not as much progression as it was in high school or college, but the talent playing in arena. What people don't know is it's harder to play arena football than it is to play outside.
Because of less space.
Less space and speed. The game in arena, you always have somebody going in motion, so you only have really 2 seconds to make a play on D-line. You only have 2 seconds to make a decision, so everything's that much faster. Yeah. So when you go back outside, which is last season I played outside again for the first time in 4 years with this semi-pro team that was a semi-pro national team. They won 4 or 5 rings in a row. They go to Miami every year. And
didn't know there's that many football leagues, to be honest.
I didn't know either. They bridged to me.
I guess you kind of assume that with all the football players who great and then didn't play and then like, let me start my own league.
Right.
I guess you kind of assume from that, but you don't hear about any of them.
You don't. And so that's why I did it, was because, semi-pro. For one, they knew, because the arena coach I'm under, he used to be a semi-pro coach. Mm-hmm. So a lot of arena have semi-pro connections. So I knew that they were going to take care of me, and also knew that they were trying to help me get film, and I was going to go and get some talent that would keep me ready for arena. Mm-hmm. Since I hadn't played, like I said, I stopped playing.
Yeah.
So I didn't think I was going to be, given that grace. So now that I play back outside, the speed of how the game transferred from inside is actually noticeable. Mm-hmm. It's I can see plays faster than I used to be able to. Running wise, I will say conditioning is way harder outside, but it's the same game. It's just that much slower now.
Do you feel any negative feelings towards them calling NFL pros when y'all still get paid to play?
I mean, to be honest with you though, the thing about arena is people still look at it as professional. I remember when I was a kid, we saw arena football as like you were pro.
Yeah, professional means you get paid to do what you want, do what you do. So
it's crazy. Yeah. So I looked at it like, I didn't listen. I knew for me to be a first generation and for me to be the first one out of my family to play D1, one of the first D linemen from Sparkman in the Wild to play D1, it was really more just I want to set the tone. Wherever it lands, it fucking lands. You know what I mean? That's where my mind was. But with arena, it's a lot more like I have a ring. I have things I can show, and I have a league that I was a part of that I'll always be remembered from. Yeah. So it still feels like I play for the pros. Now with NFL, it's the same contraband, same perspective, but it's more noticed. But when you're up there in North Carolina, people actually, because we're the only arena team in the area, so like people will recognize us and know who we were.
Yeah.
So I felt that in the area. I feel it. It's not a. It still feels like it.
Could be a local thing because like
Yeah.
Birmingham Hammers pretty popular in Birmingham, but you didn't hear nothing about arena football in Huntsville.
Right.
It's like maybe you just need more professional leagues in like local towns, not like.
I agree. And what they need to do is put all the arena teams together because we have 10 teams a league, right? In the NFL, you got 32 teams. Why not just make one big arena league?
Someone trying to make money.
Exactly. You already know.
I wish, like, I don't really like the government, but like the government in my mind is like us. Like if there's 10 of us in this room, who wants to lead? And it's like, we all know, all other 9 of us know what we're doing. We don't really need you to lead. We just need you to stay focused on leading.
Right.
So like, I wish there was like, they took over all the big businesses and just made them available to the people. Because like, if NFL, like, I mean, I could be exaggerating, but I feel like me and you probably could have went to the NFL if there was a direct path there. But like from Huntsville, we didn't have coaches that promoted us to get into college, so you kind of had to rely on your own thing, and like we didn't know what we were doing. So you got lucky, and a couple of us got lucky. I didn't get lucky. I mean, I could have went to A&M, but
yeah, definitely.
I was kind of
you strong as shit. I remember that.
I was kind of anti-black, not really anti-black, but I didn't feel
comfortable
around black people, at least black people. But like, it's like I could have went to A&M and played football, but I was like, I'll go to UAB. They're starting the new squad, and they never got the chance. But like, if they had like professional tryouts right out of high school or college tryouts right out of high school, where like you don't even got to think about it, like you're playing football. Oh, you want to go to the next step? You just go here.
Yeah.
That so many people would have actually made it to the pros that deserve to make it to the pros, not just the people with the opportunity to make it to the pros.
And the openness. So another thing I want to say, that you just stated with Spartman, right? I just went and saw Coach Watson for my reunion today. Real good seeing him being a head coach. I think he definitely
Coach Watson's my favorite.
Yeah, he deserved it for sure. For sure. But, most of what that is resources. And Madison had, I knew that people in Madison that I played against in rec league that were getting recruited. I'm noticing what they're doing different. I know I can lift the same as him. I know I'm stronger than him. I know I've hit him before.
Yeah.
But, the difference was what type of resources they had that they were putting out on top of the fact that they had people recruiting for them. So, yeah, you have coaches that are talking about you that know these college coaches better from other recruits. But, I found myself a trainer that knew other college people as well. I went to that trainer every day for about 3 or 4 months. And then I took that information and put that into the conversation I'm having with these colleges. I mean, I remember a lot of times after the games in high school, there were D3 colleges that were hitting me up, like Huntington College and Methodist College and Lane College. And, I was asking them like, hey, what does this mean? Are these serious offers? Like, how does this work?
Yeah.
And so when I talked to the trainer about it and somebody that played, like I know Coach Des was there when you all were there.
Yeah.
I was more so listening to the people that had that terminology of experience to know what to tell me and how to bridge me into thinking around what I need to take serious and what not serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest thing. I remember JP when he was graduating with you, he tried to tell me, hey, can I come play a side with you? And I'm like, hell yeah, I would love for you to come down here. But, what I experienced in college was you have college changes. My coach that brought me down there, he was essentially fired with that staff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he was still there, I could tell him, hey, Coach Turner, I got a guy that can do X, Y, Z. You need to go look at him. And that would happen. But, with like you said, with politics, with the resources we were given at Spartman, it wasn't that many shots. And it's crazy because when I went to that trainer, most of those Madison kids, they didn't have that same grit.
I could feel, because like anytime we played someone, like I felt like, I mean, there was, we had a lot of bums on the team, but like the few units we had, or not even few, we had a lot of units. They just never got any further looks. It was kind of just like, like it would be like the few goofies that would mess up the plays, and then the coach is not running the right plays.
That was the biggest thing.
That's why we were losing. But like
that was the biggest thing.
Me, you, I call him 8-Ball in my head because I can't remember his name. But the dark dude that was about your size, your grade,
Justin.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, or Justin.
Jordan. I forget who was our quarterback your year.
Mason.
It was Mason that year.
Yeah, Mason. Yeah, Mason Edwards. No.
He had some on and off days.
Yeah, he had some on and off days. Yeah, our class was. It was Mason. He was younger than us. Yeah, he was there when I left. Yeah.
I remember him being younger than me, but I was like, how is he the quarterback? But
yeah,
we probably should have betted on another quarterback. Like he did his thing, but like training. Cause I'm a middle school coach at Discovery now, and like seeing those kids is like, I see how those coaches messed up by like trying to force these kids into positions just because they can do them, not because they should be doing them.
Yeah.
Because like we have one quarterback that we tried to. He was a seventh grade. Yeah, he was a seventh grade quarterback last year because we didn't. He was the only one who threw good first try, and we could trust him. So it was like we made him be quarterback, even though he wanted to be a receiver and he was good at receiver, and he wasn't really good at quarterback. He just knew how to throw, and like we should have actually trained a quarterback to do what we want instead of trying to train this receiver to be a quarterback just because he can throw.
Yeah.
And like last year's season was a nutcase.
Really?
But yeah, because we had first we had one staff. Because my dad's the head coach, and he hired some people he knew, but then the athletic director hired some people he knew,
right?
Which would have been fine if everyone had just like tried to make the team better, but everyone's trying to like
be individuals.
Yeah, get their chip out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
It was like my dad was like, I'm the head coach, just listen to me, and then we can fall down from there. Like,
right.
And he wanted the offense coordinator to write out the plays and put them on armbands. And what was the other? We had an old white guy and an old black dude. And the old black dude was the offense coordinator when he showed up, but then he started skipping practices and he just stopped showing up. So then the white guy came and started taking over the offense coordinator. But then the dude came back and saw the white dude in his spot and just got on the phone and then walked away. We never saw him again. And he was the offensive coordinator, so we were like waiting on him for plays. It was like we didn't want to like go with the other dude's plays because like we hadn't been practicing them all this time. It was like 3 games in. So it was like,
yeah, that stuff's crazy, man.
He's gonna.
Yeah, I would agree with the fact that, you know, professionalism at different levels is crazy. And that was one of the questions you asked me, like with the college and arena. You know, we could have won the AAL, which is the league we were in this year. Last year we won the EIF, which is where I got the ring. But we had the best defense. We had the least amount of points allowed on any team in the league from the south to the north and east. And we had a quarterback that had 3 touchdowns a game running without even throwing. You know, so we had talent where all we had to do was have things structured. Yeah. The difference in the arena that I see is, you know, our coaches aren't getting paid what college coaches are getting paid.
Yeah.
So if they're not getting paid that much and they have to work and, you know, they have families or wives or trying to get married, whatever the situation is, you got those people that are not really
there
exactly all the way dialed in. So in those situations, they're arguing about what's going to be right and wrong, you know, egotistic about trying to move up. When in the gist of things, if you look at the structured teams, right, there's 2 types of head coaches. You have a head coach that is, like you said, I'm gonna tell you what I want things to do. I'm gonna come around and observe, and then we talk as a council. But at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. Yeah. For other head coaches, you have the head coaches that are delegators, right? Like Coach Watson.
Yeah.
Right? Delegators are people who give the responsibility to those that feel confident in doing it, which works out with, you know, a highly talented team. Because now I trust my D-line coach to put my 3-star D tackle in a 3 where he's playing, you know, 3rd downs at the speed that he was when we first started rather than getting tired in the season. I trust my cornerback coach to have all of my DBs reading cover 3s before they even move in motion. I trust those things because I don't have time to do anything else but be what I am, which is the inspiration for the team. And I'm focused on the structure, I'm focused on the resources, I'm focused on those things, you know, things that matter for people to grow. So it just depends, but it's not a wrong or right answer to it because, you know, you've seen Saban, who was a perfectionist, you know, was kind of like that headstrong head coach that was, all right, let me evaluate you to make sure you're at the standard. And then you got the with Notre Dame head coach that are delegators. So it comes down to those two draws. And I've learned that in my experience, you know, playing, like I said, for the God-given 24 years I have. And for Discovery Middle School, like you went through, I would say, you know, with what you had been through, you know, what I explain to a lot of these kids now, especially with the 13-year-olds I got now. I got some 13-year-olds that are, you know, all-stars I coach in North Carolina. You have to have an anti-authority is what it's called. Anti-authority is somebody who didn't make it that can tell you exactly what not to do because they did it.
Yeah,
you got to have that. You got to have that. Because on every good team, you have somebody that tells them, reminds them, like, okay, this is what I live, but this is why you're not going to live it. And that's kind of how you have to be. So, like, we know you were a good D lineman. I know JP was a good D lineman. We were all good D linemen. But telling these kids that listen, this is what I tell all the kids that I coach in middle school. You tell me right now at 13 years old what hustle, side hustle, job, opportunity you and your parents can come up with that's going to make you more money than an NIL deal would make you by the age of 16. Give me any of them. Write them down, send it to me, email, whatever you want to do.
That's a good one, because like the school system we have really tricks kids into like staying in line, like, oh, you got to follow the path. But it's like, nah, you can really start making money now and then be yourself now until you grow up instead of like trying to be someone else later.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's what you got to think about. And you got to think about the fact that, you know, usually 5% of kids make it to college, right? But the 5% is because, again, resources, structure, delegation, and just making sure they had somebody there to tell them what not to do. Once you have those things, you really can make a Bob Jones. You can make a Hoover. You can make a elite team, because I'm telling all of you guys that you're above 5%, right? And that's the standard I have for you. So now when that standard comes in play, you know, we have 20% of our team going to college versus just 3%, or, you know, and that's what I'm getting in your mind now, because when we were 13, no, you couldn't get paid in high school, but you were looking for a scholarship. So that was your, you know, you were okay, when I get to middle school, you know, I can get serious in 9th grade, I can get serious in 10th grade. But for those kids that like I said, that especially the ones I see that, you know, parents may not have everything they need, you know, those are the kids that I'm telling, like, hey, you can change your life in 3 years. I don't give a fuck where you've been. I don't care what you've done. I don't care if your parents hate me. I don't care if your parents are like what skin color I am. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want to change your community, just like I'm trying to help you do, you give me 3 years of your life and dedicate it to me, and I'll show you. And that's kind of opportunity that I've seen change. Like I said, I've seen those are the sports teams that I've seen change communities. Is the ones that had that mindset to be that example, to do that. And then, like you said, you got to have that person to just tell them, like, this is what I did.
See, I would be that person, but because I never made it to college, it's kind of like, you didn't make it. So, but it's like, it's weird because, like, in my head, I know how elite I am. I've just taken a step back because, like, my whole thing is, like, there's so many things in this world that I could have done but didn't have the opportunity to.
Right.
So, like, I started this group called the Infinite Sect. It just started, so it's not pushing it too much. But, like, the goal of the group is to give everybody a pathway to do what they want to do. Because, like, football, wrestling, track, I made it state in all three of those, or not football. We could have made it state if we had, you know, well, now our football team probably would have never made it state. They had some big teams, but like, I was a skilled player in all three of those, but didn't have a single path toward it. I mean, if I was like uprooted my life and was like, I'm doing this, then I probably could have. But like, football was always just a part of me. It was never the whole me.
Yeah.
Like, I always like video games. I like wrestling. I like movies. So it was like, if I had the opportunity, I probably would have been in the NFL and then retired and went and started making video games. So that's in my head, like going from middle school to high school, I was like, I don't really got to think about it too much because like I was always the best on any team I played. So I was like, I just got to dominate this league.
Yeah.
Someone will see me.
Yeah.
And then I don't really got to think about it. I just go home, play my video games, work out. I didn't think about building my network and talking to different teams, making sure people knew me.
Right.
By the time it was time for that, no one knew me. I was like,
Right.
it's rats.
And that's the piece that really cuts everything is that. So one, how old are you?
26.
26. Yeah. 3 years. So, you know, when you look at it from a perspective of opportunity and time, how you move every day and what you're going around every day, the fact that you're going to the gym and working out, you know, doing wrestling stuff, right? I tell people all the time, you don't have to be a coach and stop your life, right? You can coach people. What I was doing was coaching my cousin, you know, that I met. I didn't even know it was my cousin, honestly. That's another story. You know, I'm coaching you. I'm still working out. I'm still living my life. I'm still making money. And my love for the game never changed. It only increases by sharing it with other people, right? Yeah. So now I'm sharing it with you, and I'm realizing things that I didn't do. So now, you know, if I'm working out, well, I did forget to do this. You know, let's try this. I mean, I have nothing to lose. I'm still gaining. You know, 20 years of your life is not enough to learn everything about your body. Yeah. So you keep learning stuff. You keep going into that infrastructure, and you never know what could happen. I mean, I know, crazy enough, right? The Huntsville Astros. I had a guy that played with me on the Predators that played in the Huntsville Astros. So, you know, connection there. Yeah. And then, you know, with coaching, I'll coach with a guy that coached with the rec league team with me that I was coaching. And he actually, you know, helped me get a job with my first management role of like a, you know, project manager. So, you know, stuff like that. Like you use it for helping you bridge yourself into who you are, you know, who you were and who you are. But because you changed when things didn't go your way, it can happen that way. But at the end of the day, the only thing that stops you from doing something is you. And time is the factor that you look at. You know, if you look at time as like, I have to do things by this age, you do kind of just give certain things up. But, you know, never knowing where you could go sometimes can fuck with you. But for the most part, you know, you don't want to bring that to a kid because now it's like, okay, I don't know where I could have went, but I want you to go everywhere. But at the end of the day, you're a 13-year-old kid. If I put too much pressure on you, now you're going to look at me like, oh, that's the coach that's going to make me run. I don't want to be around him. I don't want to, you know, I don't like that aura that I get when he's around me. Like, I feel like I'm in military camp. And it's like, well, you don't even know that coach cares about you the most.
That was the aura that the coaches had last year. That's why I like the coach staff we have this year because, like, everybody is upbeat. And it's like, no one's, like, last year, they put kids down so much. Like, I wanted to fight the coaches. But this year, everybody's upbeat. I can actually, like, chill back and just
that's what you need.
Observe, be the thinking coach. I don't got to be y'all got to run, y'all. I don't got to do all that, which is nice this year.
Right. And what I started to do was, you know, one of the biggest things best things I had a conversation about in college was before I started asking coaches, hey, how did I do in this? What do you think about me doing this in the gym or this move on D-line? What I did was he told me, hey, if you were a coach, like I want you to physically imagine yourself as Nick Saban. You're a perfectionist, right? I want you to watch all the film that you've watched from football, compare yourself to the greatest, and then I want you to go from that to how you look on film if you were a coach that was comparing to the greatness. If you were comparing to that and you looked at yourself, do you really think that you would have the same opinion if it wasn't just you? That's what made me kind of like, okay, I feel this way in the moment, but let me go look and see if I was a coach, what would I say to myself in this moment? What would I grade this move as? And then from there, it kind of went into like, okay, I didn't do it as well as I thought. I actually could have done this. I actually could have moved this that way, and you start looking more outside the box.
Do you think there's a way to teach kids the physics of football? Because like, I don't know how other people see football, but like when I'm playing, I can see like, oh, he's moving this fast. Mm-hmm. If I bounce off him, I'll be in this position, or like if he blocks me, I can use that momentum to get over here. Like, Do you think that's just something that comes naturally, or do you think there's a way to teach that?
So I think that football this is my personal opinion after years of playing. I think, especially professional, 40% of football is what you teach and know and train. 60% is what you react to. So that's why I tell people the best football players are not going to be most of the time from structured homes. And it's because you had to react to chaos so many times that it's natural to you. So when you're on the field, when something messes up, when a play messes up, you're so honed in on the fact that this is what I want to do. This is how I want to play. Your love for the game is so much stronger because of your life situation. Your reactions are that much faster.
Yeah, because you're not hung up on anything. You're just, what needs to be done, I do it.
I'm locked in. And so that's why you're gonna always have football players that are always different from normal, right? Yeah. Because that's the life of it. So, I think that where you tell kids that is when you're learning from the age of 5, you have a toolbox that you're building. When you play quarterback, when you play running back, when you play offensive line, that toolbox that you have, if you forget it just to play the position you want, you won't ever have a full toolbox of being a football player. Yeah. You have to use that. Everything I teach you, I want you to go learn it from somebody else in a different way. But then you're going to compare yourself, what I've taught you, to everything else that you've learned, because I'm not going to contain you to this is the right way. I'm going to tell you this is one of the ways you can do it when you're in this situation. Now go react to this situation. Now go react to this situation, because that's what life is about. You're not going to react to one situation the same way the whole time. Otherwise, you'll be insane. Right? So that's kind of the way I would teach kids, and that's what I do tell the kids now. Up there in Durham, and Durham is a crazy area. I'll definitely say that.
Kind of like a Hoover area.
It's worse than I would compare it. To be honest with you, I stayed in Mobile, and Mobile was hood. It was a lot of. I've witnessed things I didn't want to see, but at the end of the day, I would say Durham is probably one of the craziest places I've lived near in a long time.
It's worse there?
I don't live there, so I live in Raleigh, but okay. I coach in Durham. I have family in Durham, and most of our culture is in Durham, as far as black people. So I go out there and interact with them as much as I can. That and the fact that, my family here is mostly in Montgomery. Mm-hmm. So when I met my cousin in Durham, and he was from Baltimore, where I stayed before I came back down here in about 4th, 3rd grade, we kind of hit it off, and so I'm out there, pretty much 3 days out the week. But yeah, Durham I would compare it to like Washington D.C. in the levels of like violence and territorial stuff like that. But at the end of the day, me being involved with those same kids that are from that area, that I've seen a lot of turnaround. So
just by talking to them.
Yeah, just by talking to them. A lot of kids do like to see people that play professional. Like anybody would, like I would have wanted to see. But at the end of the day, what these kids really cherish the most is they look at you as I have to figure out what you did. What I did is something that can be in your toolbox now, right? Because the game's going to change every single 3-4 years. So by the time you got there, there's no more drag tackles. You can't hit the same. You can't do those things. So my toolbox that you learned from the hard days is going to make you a better player, because they're going to see that as like, okay, you could play in any area. You play Brian Urlacher style football, but then you can also play like Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the bigger things that I would say.
Do they let y'all hit up there?
What?
They let y'all as kids hit? Like
So, yeah.
open field hits?
So we do a lot more like helmet and shoulder pads. They don't take football serious up there. It's really crazy. Yeah, they kind of when it rains they don't practice. That's just crazy. Whenever they're in practice and you know they don't get a play right or they don't read something right, you know they're not more so like okay next play. They're arguing about it. They're bickering about it. But that's a result from kind of where the community handles things as well, because people up there are more argumentative and you know
Scrappy.
it's scrappy. It's city, so it's more cutthroat. But it's realizing that again the 3-year span you have, if you want to do these things, you know, and you've seen somebody that hasn't done it closer to you, you know, you have to change that. You got to get away. You got to get away from it mentally if you can. I mean, that's the best way to bridge from that. So what I do is I have a lineman camp that I do, and I train them 3 days a week. Every time I train them, they learn more about what linemen can do, the form to how to play line, and then I also tell them my story of how things work for me in Alabama. So they think that practicing in 90 degrees is hot, like a 90 degrees, yeah.
I haven't got to 100 yet.
Yeah, you ain't got 110, 115. You haven't gone out there, off a McDonald's meal before, but those are things that when like I said, when you are from a different area, people can read that. People understand that, like the level of football that I look at stuff. I'm not up there trying to be the biggest gangster. I'm not trying to be the headstrong coach to look like what I know I am. Right? I know that you are trying to get somewhere that I've seen. So if you want to get there, I'm gonna tell you right now where you're at right now is not gonna get you there. And on top of that, if you want to be the same as your parents, you can do that. I'm not against you doing that. I'm your coach, and I'm also gonna be somebody that inspires you. So if you don't want to do that, you'll still see me, and I'm still gonna be that person. But you said you wanted this, so I just make them more accountable to what they want to do. And like I said, I train kids, so I got probably about 5 or 6 kids now that I train, weekly.
You gonna take any on as your personal disciple?
Yeah, I got one. I got a little cousin. He looks just like me, as a matter of fact, and he's been my apprentice. So I treat him like my son, and he is playing DN. The only thing with him is that I gotta get him more weight because he's kind of built more for like lean muscle. I was always built stocky. So me, I had to cut down. I can move my body more places because I had the mass.
Yeah.
I gotta get him bigger. But yeah, I take him on, man. I make him do everything.
See, I really want to pick up a disciple, but there's some kids are just, I don't know. I want to pick like cream of the crop.
Right.
And then the only one, I have one player that is like, his build, I feel like he can do pretty much anything. I mean, he plays basketball on the side in the off season. I was trying to get him to stop, but he likes it. So, but like, I want him to wrestle, and then get into BJJ and Muay Thai, because like, not only, I'd say he runs at least a 5 flat or under, as a middle schooler. He's the strongest on the team. Hits harder, has the most energy, and I really want to take him on, but I feel like he got some other stuff going on right now. I had to.
Well, I mean, put it like this, right? Mm-hmm. My situation is family, but you got to remember that the generation we're in right now, like, is he in a single mom situation or like a?
I'm pretty sure he has both his parents.
That's good. That's really good. What I would say is,
if anything, he lives with his dad. 'Cause I've seen his dad a couple times. I don't think I've seen his mom.
Yeah. So what I would do is take it to where. Here's what you do. You do something to remind him that you understand he's 13, right? So, like I took, with my little cousin's name Mason, I took him to like to get ices a couple times. Whenever he made some things happen, I would spend time with him and just hang out. and talk about life. You know, we talk about, obviously 13, right? You talking about girl, you talking about trying to figure out what you like about school, you know, how it feels to drive a car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those conversations to have with somebody that they look at already up to, it makes it more like, okay, I can see everything that he tells me. I know he's never lied to me, right? So everything he's telling me, everything he's doing for me, I know he's doing for my purpose. So I would trust him more than I would trust, you know, somebody else to train me. So yeah, I want to be like this coach because I don't even just see him as a coach. I see him as a human. You know, that's where it gets better. With Mason, like I said, I hang out with him as my little cousin. So I just remind him like, hey, I'm training you, but you know, we can go get food and we can go play VR headset. We can play Xbox for a little bit if you want to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm your cousin before anything. So if you don't make it in football, I'm still gonna be here.
Yeah.
You know.
That's another thing. Like, it's like they're not family, so like you can't. A lot of weird stuff. Because like, it's one thing if you could just ask and then that be it. But like, you gotta worry about the parents having a reaction to that. Oh, he wants my kid outside of school, and then they go tell other parents, and then it becomes a whole thing. Was like, I just wanted to train a kid.
No, honestly, man, if you really just so you've been coaching at Discovery for how long?
It's my second year.
So yeah, about 1 year less than me. So honestly, the trust that you build with Discovery, right? The rapport you have with that, like if you just say, hey, I'm having, because I don't know anybody in the Madison Huntsville area that trains linemen at 13. I don't know if you do, but
There's one dude that's in my grade. He's kind of, it wasn't D lineman, it was O lineman. But I went and watched one of his camps. I would have fought him to pay. He paid, it was $70 a day. And I went up there and just watched one, it was for an hour. They just ran agility drills all day. I was like,
that's not it. That's not offensive line, right? So you know, and you've been through wrestling, right? You start your own lineman-based training, right? Mm-hmm. You train linemen, and that way people see, okay, he's training my kid 2 hours a day. On top of that, they're taking pictures. My son's coming home telling me that he learned about Chevrolets. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that people want to hear because it's not really awkward unless you say, hey, could I hang out with your son? That's awkward, right? Yeah. But if you say, hey, I think that your son, you know, and I don't want to be untruthful with you, but I think that your son has an opportunity that could change you all's life. You know, I don't know if you all been playing, you know, if you all have played professional or the life situation, but every time I see the parent, I'll say, hey, man, how tall is your granddad? Oh, he's going to be 6'5". That's cool, man. All right, I'll see you later. Hey, how was, every time I'm asking incremental questions. And when I get to that point of, okay, you know, I have the gym or I have, you know, if you use the apartment gym, I have something to use to where these kids can train at. Hey, would you mind if I specifically taught him, you know, some ways to be a better lineman 2 days a week? And then start there. And then I guarantee you the more you build that rapport, like I said, you get a list of kids because it's more about what you're teaching them, less than what where you've been. I mean, people can come at me for playing arena, that's fine, but most of the time, you know, if you play good, doesn't mean you're a good coach. I know a lot of people I play with that I do not think don't even really want to be a coach because of how much they honestly just self-motivate themselves to play through it. Not really just train, they just were motivated.
Yeah, like they're just playing. They didn't really study or like depth in their knowledge of the game. They're just there to do it.
Literally. Got lucky, got a name, went to IMG, something like that. Because there are people that pay to get into these positions, I admit. You know, like IMG is one of those schools you go to where if you get to IMG, you're guaranteed to go to at least a D1. You know, so there's that. But then a lot of parents will see, and it will be proven through the results of what happens with that kid, you know, that your value's not there. Like you said, I mean, if you're charging $70 a camp, my kid should know NFL level things about high school.
Man, he didn't, like, the fact that he had multiple linemen, and when I got them, when we started practice, and they didn't know how to get in any type of stance, I was like, how'd y'all even, what'd y'all face up to? It was like a 3-day camp. It was like $210 for what? To run? Like, you could have ran by yourselves.
Exactly. So it's just that figuring out what your niche is one of the biggest things that helped me. And then I started doing boxing, for D-line. So, what I learned from boxing, hand-eye coordination wise, putting my hands in certain places, that's what helped me get that edge that I told you that got me started with the Predators. That got me, those good rushes, those sacks, those tackles in the backfield. Knowing that more than just one sport helped you play good, right? Because I only played football, but if I would have wrestled in high school, if I would have did those things, I probably would have been even better.
They should have recruited a lot more.
Yeah.
I think Will was the only football player that wrestled. Everyone else was like just wrestlers or just football players. I was like, we can all just play sports, just be better humans. But it's kind of they sectionalize us too much. Like they should, as kids with like lots of opportunity and not a lot of knowledge, they should just let us try everything. Like just make us try it. Like in school even, but like they try to like, I don't know. It's weird how they play kids in the sense of like, oh, y'all know what y'all's doing, but then like they don't know what they're doing at the same time. So it's like y'all giving them too much freedom in the areas they don't need freedom.
Exactly.
And not enough freedom in the areas they do need freedom.
Exactly. That's the biggest problem. And these kids think they're grown now, man. It's like, TikTok has opened up a lot of veils and streaming, but it's them trying to grow up early. It's always happened, even when we were young.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, when you're growing up too early, you still have the heart and the emotions of a 16-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna realize in life and in other things that happen that you're still that age. So again, you being cool with them and being somewhat of an anti-authority for what you have experienced, but also being enlightened in what you do know. That's gonna help you be a difference maker. Because now, I mean, like I said, I got a high school that wants me to coach up there, like Wake Forest High School. But I told myself that I would coach when I got done playing. I want to be done fully so I can get my full experience. And that way, every time that I meet somebody, I'm giving them that full experience to put in their toolbox. Do
you have an endpoint you want to get to? Or are you just playing until someone tells you can't?
Well, thankfully, I have had no serious injuries. Even in college, had no serious injuries. When I was in college, I had all honestly, the 5-star good linemen. They were all cool with me. They taught me, numerous things. And I think that I want to play until I know physically, and I can tell physically in the game that I'm just not moving the same. And I think 30 is the age that most people are like, okay, my body's going to feel this now. So I got to be smart about what's worth my time, what's worth my money. And, like I said, thankfully I've been able to be blessed in those areas. So I feel like I want to play until the 30 range. If I'm not at Hall of Fame or, just a star player level, then I feel like at that time it's kind of like, okay, well, I could just go into business. Because when you go into the business world, you realize, because only 20% of Americans work out, right? So when you're in a job, people hire athletes. Why? Because you kind of set the work ethic in the job. Yeah. So now I can go get paid $100K at whatever job because I know I'm going to be the hardest working person. And on top of that, because of the level I played at, I've lived a lifestyle that most people don't always see, right? So now I can share that with people. And I can start my own, training. I can start my own gym. I can start my own whatever. And how you remember me is the fact that I am that person. I was an athlete, So when I'm speaking to somebody, like when you chose this apartment, if you would have went into that building and saw somebody that played at Bob Jones, you would have been like, oh shit, I know this dude. You know what I'm saying? And it's more structured. It's more business behind it that allows you to open up, your creativity, and then you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of more people that were doing business before you because of what you have behind you. So I'm full with that.
My first girlfriend was in the office when I went in there to sign the lease for the first time. So that was an interesting experience, but we don't talk anymore. So
happens. That happens too.
The funny thing is, we were always cool, up until I moved here, because like I stopped talking to her because like I was in Birmingham, she was at USA, and I was like, so we just stopped talking, and then she got married, and then she was telling me how her husband and her don't really do stuff. So I was like, so I'm back. I don't really got friends. Let's go do stuff. And then I don't know if he took it the wrong way or if she took it the wrong way, but she was like, no, like stop suggesting stuff for me, stop talking. I was like, you know, if you're gonna give that energy, I just blocked her. I haven't talked to her since.
Yeah. I'd say, man, so I will admit, even if my parents see this, you know, I was not the best boyfriend during football, right? So
In all the years?
and when I was in high school, yes, but when I was in college, you know, I had a bucket list, like I said.
Yeah.
That bucket list, I wanted to cross off just to see if I could do it, right? And so with women, you know, if I dated you and I respected you and I knew that I loved you, I knew that, you know, it was legit, so I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't go out and purposely do things, but the way that girls dated people that were athletes was kind of the standard they had. And when I was dating girls that didn't date athletes, it was a whole different, you know, expectation they had for me. And to be honest, if I have 20 girls holler at me every day on campus that I have to make no effort to talk to, right?
They're meeting you at the gym, all the
meet me
places you're
everywhere.
going. While
So-
she's like, I don't want to go. It's like, stuff's gonna happen. Like,
You know, that's how it goes, man. But I will say, you don't want to get caught up in it because, you know, you need a life partner. You need somebody that's going to help you, you know, change your life. So for me, it took me to get kind of out of that. Like I said, when I got focused back, I had a girlfriend in college that was in Huntsville, went to Johnson. I had a girl that kind of helped me get motivated to be back on my stuff and to be, like I said, the old Austin that was focused. So when I got to that space, then, you know, I got back on that horse and we dated for a while. But if we didn't do well, most of the time, you know, I'm not a person that really goes back because when you level up in a sense, they'll always try to come back to you. But
they didn't level up with you.
exactly. So, and it's easy. Like I'll tell them, like, I mean, I don't regret dating you. Like, you were beautiful. You know, it was supposed to be what it was. Yeah. But now I'm at the stage where I'm not trying to sell you on the time you have at being 28. Some girls are trying to have kids. Some girls trying to get married. You know, so I'm looking to get married and settle down when I get done with football again, because now I don't have to deal with, you know, a situation where she's chasing me everywhere I'm trying to go play football, you know, and then there's arguments about all that stuff. I'm gonna get away from that. So
This one thing about relationships is like, they should teach it in school, but like a literal life partner should be, I mean, they say your other half, but they should literally be your other half. Like, if we're doing life together, why do we have two separate jobs, two separate cars, separate friend groups, separate favorite places to go to, want to do separate things? Like, all those separations leave room for separation. But if y'all just find something and like, y'all don't have to agree on everything, but like, you can like that person's perspective on doing all different things. So like, you take them to the gym, they might not like doing your workouts, but you could try their workouts and you're like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Like, I feel like people try to stay too individualistic these days. It's like, you're not that different. Everyone's pretty much the same. It's just a matter of what you want to do that makes you seem like a different being.
Yeah. And I will say this. You know which ones that you really, really, really loved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not something that you have to like compete for. It's not something you have to
even think about.
Yeah, because when you're around that person, it's just compatible. But those people, like, if you have a situation where, you know, you're compatible with somebody and they get married or whatever, like, most of the time, I let the cordialness and friendship come from them. You know, if I reach out more and I'm more friendly, it's kind of like, no, just let that be where they feel comfortable.
You really got to do that with girls these days, because like, you try to set the flow, it something always goes weird. It's like you got to just let them flow and then just feed back into it.
Yeah. But nah, like what you said, man. Like I want to say this though. I mean, 2017, y'all definitely turned around the school, you know, to where I wanted it to be, where we wanted it to be, and you know, visiting Coach Watson recently, I seen that y'all have made a lot of strides towards what Spartman should be.
Yeah, like an actual school.
Powerhouse. Yeah,
because like they got their fans now. They got that. It's weird that they redid the track, the field, and got rid of the grass, but didn't redo the stands. That was an interesting thing. But like, now they just. So 2017 was crazy because like, I mean, we didn't make it to the playoffs, but we almost made it to the playoffs. I think we went what, 5-4.
Or basically right at 500, like 5-6, something like that.
It was like
5-6, yeah.
right, like
games.
we just lost the game to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And like, not only that, we got the wrestling team. We had 4 people make it to the. I want to say we had 4 people make it to state and make it to the state finals. I think pretty sure all of us. I got second. Zach got third. I think Josh and Cam got 4th. Yeah, Zach got 3rd because he got beat twice. But
I heard Cangelosi was a dog. That's what I heard.
Yeah, he's a dog. Like, of all the people in high school he's still my best friend, because like we just kind of related on things. It's like Josh Little. I don't know if you remember him, but he was my best friend all the way up until senior year. But then senior year, he hurt his shoulder playing football. No, he got hurt at, I think it was like a wrestling camp or something, and then stopped playing football. And then me and Zach became like the 2 people going at each other. And then after that, we went into wrestling, and then Josh was lower weight, so me and Zach started going in.
Yeah.
And me and Josh kind of separated. But yeah, Zach, I think got 2 rings at JSU, and I think I don't think I ever asked him why he didn't go into the NFL. I don't know if he got any looks or whatever. I know he got hurt a couple times. It might have been because he got hurt. I forget. I think it was his shoulder.
Yeah.
Or his knee. He got hurt a couple times. It was like, that might have been why he just was like, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Josh now. He's a strength conditioning coach at Wyoming, and what's crazy is the guy that I told you in my network I networked with that coaching the kids. Mm-hmm. He played at Wyoming. So we talked about that, and I was like,
that's such a weird connection.
Yeah, it is weird.
Although I wonder how Josh ended up out there, because that's Wyoming. Who?
I mean, bro, like I said, he was always. I remember avidly when I looked at y'all when you came in as sophomores, I was like, he's gonna be the biggest. JP looked like he had a lot of good form, good regular speed, unexpected speed. You had a lot of power in your press. You were like a press gap reading D tackle. And then I remember Avery, who was a good rush end. But, you know people who are, because every year when somebody's avidly into working out, they're going to show you different workouts that they're doing. He always had something new.
Yeah. Josh was a big motivation for me because, like, there wasn't really bodybuilding growing up. But he was, like, the first bodybuilder I knew. So it was like, oh, I want to be like you. So, like, he was at competition. Now I don't really want to be, cause like my focus now, cause like all the way up until I graduated college, I was always on strength training, cause like, that's what they teach us in high school, in football, to be strong. Mm-hmm. But one thing I started to realize is like the body could do so much stuff, and my body can't do it because I haven't been training for it. So I've been practicing the splits, been jump roping, handstand push-ups,
me too. Just
a bunch of gymnastic stuff, because it's like,
you tested weight strength, now you gotta test that strength.
Yeah, like the body should be able to do a lot more things. Mm-hmm. And like if you look at a baby could do so much stuff that we stopped being able to do, and we think it's because we grew up, but no, it's because we stopped doing it.
Exactly.
Like all the ways a baby can move, you should technically be able to move. Like muscle's not that dense that it can't move. You just gotta give it enough fiber so it can move in those positions.
Yeah. I agree, man. Like I think boxing opened my eyes to like calisthenic power. I was doing a lot more jammers and just lineman work with pads, sleds. But where my real crazy power came from was boxing. The more that I torqued myself to like move the bag, the harder my hooks were, the farther that I pushed my hand. That helped me, you know, that helped my power coming out of my stance, and also it helped my hand strength and my shoulders be a lot more stronger. And so like doing handstands, I actually figured like I benched like 4 or 5 in college. And when I got to the pros, it wasn't even about being strong. It's about, how many times can you do 225 consistently? And one of the things I didn't realize was when you challenge yourself to stretch your body on a head press level, like you're lifting your body weight versus lifting a regular weight, you have your abs supporting you, you have your legs supporting you, you have everything supporting you. When you have nothing, you're just lifting your body with your shoulders. Man. That's a different power. So like I said, man, if I would have been boxing, back in that age, I was more so wanting to hang out with my little brother because I have a brother autism, so I wanted to make sure he was entertained as much as I could. But if I would have been invested in the wrestling, invested in the BJ and stuff like that, I probably like you said, we would have been even nastier. But yeah, like I said, opportunity, man, it just comes from networking, and now that you're coaching, I would definitely say, start your training stuff, because if I was to come back to Huntsville, that's honestly what I would do, is train linemen, from a younger age that need it, and then just go up to high school, because like I said, I don't know many lineman-based trainers here. There's a lot of trainers that can get you big, but nothing lineman-based. You got to have it.
You ever think about dancing?
Not really dancing. I did hop into salsa dancing for a little bit. I mean, I've always danced, the party, but as far as hopping into professional dancing, no.
I mean, because one thing that dancing is really what made me realize how much I can't do, because dancers are crazy. Like the backflips, the power moves, and the holding, the spinning is I bet most break dancers could take a punch better than most boxers because of how much they actually strengthen their neck by using their neck, not just the neck's not something you usually think about, but when you're spinning on it, you're thinking about it, and it builds all that up. It's I haven't gotten to head spinning. I'm too heavy for that. I'm gonna wait till I get probably 190. I've never been 190. I haven't been 190 since the middle school, but I think 190 is gonna be the weight where all the fat's gonna be, not all the fat, but enough fat's gonna be gone where it looks like I work out. It's right now, it kind of offended me. I had the boys lifting tires, and then I was like, y'all are doing it wrong. Do it like this. And I just kind of did it casually, and I was like, do it like this, and then pop. And they were like, oh, I didn't know you were that strong. I was like, dang, I must, that's crazy. I'm, just because the fat's there and y'all can't see the muscles. But I mean, it's understandable.
One of the biggest things about being athletically strong is that people aren't going to notice your strength. Most D linemen that you look at in the league, unless you're Aaron Donald, weren't muscular, right? So you got a lot of bigger guys that had hidden muscle, and that's one of the things that wrestling does. That's why I said when you did wrestling, that's one of the things that separates you as a lineman is you have strength in every part of your body. You're not just strong in one area. Your chest is not just big. Your legs are not just strong and explosive. You also have the ability to bend. Your ligaments play a huge role in lasting. I actually rolled my ankle playing flag up there when I was 25, so back in 2021. And when I rolled it, it took me about 2 months to come back. And it kind of made me think man, I am getting old. I need to stop doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when I actually went to the physical therapist and learned hey, your body's so strong to the point where your ligaments actually don't have support for your muscles. So you need to strengthen your ligaments, because if your ligaments were strong, I guarantee you probably would never get injured. So that was one of the things that I had to learn. But again, that's not again, you thinking outside the box is what makes you. You said your dad's coaching, right?
Yeah.
So what was he at before?
He was at Meridianville.
Okay.
I think.
Were you in high school?
Now he just started like 3 years ago.
Okay.
2 years. I think, pretty sure. Yeah, he was at Meridianville for 1 or 2 years, and then left there, came here, and then I don't know how far he wants to take it. Like, it's like on one hand, I don't like being tied to stuff, but I do like doing stuff. So like, I do like that we have something that's like established that we can build on to.
Yeah.
I kind of want to like abandon it and go do our other stuff because like we have our books. Me, my dad, and 2 of my sisters are all authors, and we haven't started the business yet, but we have the website and the logos. It's like kind of just want to drop football and then just push that, but he's still a teacher anyway, so he has to go through this next year anyway. So like, I don't know what he's gonna do after this season.
So he was coaching back when you were.
He never coached not until like 3 years ago.
So when you were playing, was he coaching you personally?
He not football wise. He would make me do push-ups, wall sits, planks, and run. But other than that, like he didn't know much about working out. He just knew you needed to work out to get strong, so he had me work out.
Yeah.
And then he knew I needed to run, so he had me running a couple miles every day.
Yeah.
It's like I was able, like, kind of embarrassing. I was able to I ran 2 half marathons, one in 8th grade, I think one in, I think it was 12th grade. But we played 7-on-7 against the boys Thursday. I was winded after one play. I was like, that's crazy. And I realized I haven't been running, but I was like, I've been, stretching, doing active stretches. I was like, maybe I got a little bit of stamina.
Yeah.
But I realized why no one else got tired. I was the only one playing man against those boys. So we had, kids running under 5s, and I'm sitting here trying to backpedal with them. It's like, but it was an interesting experience because like, it let me see like, I'm trying to get these kids to do all this running, but I can't even run. So like, that's what I'm gonna be focused on. We have like 2 weeks of break. Try to get my stamina at least up to above, because like, nowhere near, lineman stamina. But like, I want to get to the running back stamina. So like, the running backs could look at me and be like, okay, he knows what he's talking about because he can do it. It's not just, oh, he's telling me to do it, but he can't do it. It's like, the other coaches, they kind of have that. Like, they look more fit and they have more fitness things going. So it's like, I feel like the kids listen to them more, but it's like, when I listen to them, it's like they are more focused on specific things. They haven't really gotten to the point of life where like they're all-encompassing being. It's a little mean to say, but like not really mean, but like a lot of humans get too focused on what they're doing and not the grand picture. And like these coaches kind of have like their own things going, so like they're keeping on that momentum with these kids. It's not like they're seeing all these kids, this kid does this kid does that, and like trying to help them do that. They're trying to like impression on them instead of like seeing what they are and seeing how they could be better.
They're at. Yeah, and that's like, I always knew that I would work out probably the rest of I am going to work the rest of my life, but the thing about it is most of the time being impressionable, like I said, is a coach that just thinks that one way is the right way, right? Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. The contained mindset is what keeps people honestly at bay, is because they don't, like you said, the big picture is where the game grows, how you can grow with the game, and how you can grow in coaching the game. You're never going to be just one way fits all. And that even speaks to Alabama, right? With Nick Saban, with things, the transfer portal, that changed Alabama football forever. Alabama will never have the same power it had. It will have the same talent because Alabama will be the best because of how serious we take the game. Yeah. But it would never be the same class, the same capture that he, like, this is my player, I have him, he's not going anywhere else, he's not going anywhere else. Once he comes here, I have him 4 years. Once you get that out the picture, now it's about more so being adjustable to all these players. And
Do they still have any legendary coaches there?
They do. I mean, my defensive coordinator from South Alabama is actually their defense coordinator. Named Kane Womack. He's a legend in my book. I remember he wore a Leonardo jumpsuit like a Ninja Turtle when I was in sophomore year. But he is that is Alabama will always have value. You can have, like I said, Bob Jones is an example. You have the resources, you have everything there. The thing about it is, can you adjust to the new generation, and can you adjust to what everybody needs every year? Those are the best coaches, and that's what I think Nick Saban was also good at, is adjusting to what he had. But again, now that you have a portal where people can go anywhere, like if they feel, again, they get emotional and they say, hey, I feel like I should be getting paid $90,000 instead of $60,000, I'm going to go to Penn State. Because I'm from Bama, they're going to pay me $90K.
Yeah.
And it's like, you leave for that reason, but if you're really focused on development, you stay at your school. And then when you get to the league, people also look at how many times you transferred. So again, the game's changed so much to where people are not worried about the big picture. You know, money is one thing, but in a big picture, you want to last in this game as long as you can. Yeah. So, like I said, working out yourself, taking those experiences that you have, you know, teaching these kids about ligaments, that stuff that people aren't doing. When you do that, it separates you from the rest of the people that you know.
Do you want to get into the NFL or a higher arena football, or you kind of just enjoy playing?
Right now, I have a couple of teams overseas that looking at me.
That's something I would look into.
Yeah.
Playing overseas.
Yeah. I'll tell you about that, and I'll go to the gym after that. I got to work out. But when I'll be here the whole weekend. But essentially, so when you're overseas, right, they have a American A they put on your jersey. Mm-hmm. They know you're American. They treat you like you're an American, and so you're getting the treatment like a rock star. And
I thought you were talking about like how they're looking at us now. But
no.
How they used to look at us.
No. Nothing with that stuff. Thank God. But what they do is in a 4-month time span, 4 or 5 months, which is the fall season, they fly you out there. You get 2 tickets for anybody who wants to come, or 3 tickets for anybody who wants to come to your games from the States. They can fly them out, fly them back. And they pay for your car. They pay for your cell phone. They also pay for, what you do that season. So most rookie contracts are like $40,000, $30K, but that's 4 months, right? So that's $10K a month to go overseas. And
have everything paid for.
And you're playing against people that haven't played the grade of football you have, right? So it's a really good, way to get stuff out. I know 2-3 guys that play overseas now that I actually played arena with.
How come you haven't taken that step?
I mean, I just needed the film. Last year, that game that happened that I had those 4 sacks in, they didn't give me that film. Yeah. They didn't give me that film at all. I didn't have it anywhere. I didn't have it in my phone. I didn't have it in, my Android or anything. They didn't put in a group message for us to see it. Now this year, I got every single piece of film that I have. So, I sent it out to the overseas teams. I got other arena teams that want me to play as well. So it's going pretty well.
And how did you find out your cousin was your cousin?
So yeah, I'll leave it at that. That'll be the last thing.
Yeah.
So crazy enough, I was on Facebook, and I moved to Raleigh. Like I said, had an apartment. I'm in my suggested friends list on my iPhone. I see his name pop up, and it has the last name from my mom's side of the family, which is Dixon, right? I see the last name. It says Durham, North Carolina. Obviously, it popped up for that reason. And I see his face, and I'm like, he looks just like me. It's
before or after you started training him?
This is before. It's like when I first met his father. So like, I'm literally on Facebook. I see the lookalike picture, and then we literally just meet up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a Dixon," and I'm like, "What? So how did you why don't you be at the family reunions and what's where'd your family come from, all that stuff?" And he told me a situation. He told me that, they broke off from the family essentially before I was born. And he kind of had to be raised by his mom, and he had a different situation. So he had a family in Durham, and he has 4 kids, and we got to know each other from there. And then literally when I met him, that's when his son wanted to hop into football. So this is the picture we took when we met each other. Hold on.
Dang.
Yeah.
Definitely family right there.
I don't know if you can see that, but
You can shoot it to me. I'll throw it on when I edit it.
yeah. So it's crazy, man. It's just those opportunities. Like I said, you get to meet family and all that stuff is one thing, but hopping back into something that you love is another. So it's been, like I said, North Carolina's been an up and down trip for me, man. But I think that where I want to be in my life, advance wise, and just being able to access both sides of the family, finally, I think it's somewhere that I want to be.
I know you gotta go, but
Yeah.
well, I gotta say one last thing. My family, I wish my family was more connected, because I don't know if it's the internet or just personalities, but my dad's the only one who, no, I have not heard from a single one of my extended family in years. My mom's brothers sends me memes on Facebook, but besides that, my aunts, uncles don't call, my cousins don't call. They mess me in group chat every once in a while. At least my roommate's siblings message me. But the rest of my family is why are we all separate? We're all trying to do stuff. Why not just combine?
That's one of the things that unfortunately I feel like people have used football for. In my case, is we'll come to your games, but we don't care about the rest of the family. It's man, at the end of the day, and it's serious. At the end of the day, people don't understand that, just like the reunion, right? I came to this reunion, people were saying forget the reunion. I don't care about the reunion. I know what y'all are doing. I have you on Facebook, right? But at the end of the day, in 10 years, you're not going to see these people again. You think you are.
And you would never, this conversation that we had right now would never happen online. And I like this conversation. It would never happen online.
Never.
Just because it takes too much time.
It takes so much time. People don't understand that your family is one of the biggest things that speaks of a man. When you meet somebody, and if I explain that scenario to them, hey, I actually don't care about how my family broke off. I still treat this person like my cousin that I met when I was 5. Yeah. That's what keeps families together, because just because one of us made it doesn't mean that you use that for somewhere to kind of bridge off. Once one of us come together, it's just to show that we all could have did it, right? That's the thing about it, is whatever I had, whatever the opportunities I took, is the same thing that you can do to get where you want to be in life. So now you have somebody that just knows how to talk you up. That's what it really is about. When you forget that and you go on to what's in it for me, which is what most people do, then that's when the situation gets to where you're at now. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I notice. I'm trying to get my family, actually I'm trying to get him to come to reunions more. And it's worked more with just having his son, around me more, and him kind of seeing, the value of having more family around. But that's the biggest thing I want to do, man. I'm not playing this game for me, as well. It's more so for my family, I wanted to make it to where my little brother had more opportunities to come see me, and to kind of get out of where he is at, and then also for my parents to, have something to come see when they retire, something for me to share with my younger cousins. So now we have something that can always grow, because no matter what race or what you believe in, sports bring everybody together. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things that I feel like, God allowed me to use.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, man.
It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, man.
Come back tomorrow if you want. Guys, not
Yeah.
really related to you. I got a couple more questions, like Trump and all that.
Oh, yeah,
all that's
yeah.
been going on in the world.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll be doing the reunion stuff until 10 o'clock. You can come back around at any time, man. We're definitely gonna do it.
I just got work till 2, or until my relief shows up, and then.
Where you working at?
Circle K. I work at Circle K on weekends, and then do pretty much lazy, but I make YouTube videos throughout the week and then do football throughout the week. But I don't know if it's how y'all do it, but I only get paid once a year for football, so it's really volunteer work up until I get paid. So but it does take up time. So I don't want to get a job and then I get off work and I got to go up there. I rather just have my day and treat that as a job.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, that's pretty much.
Oh, listen, man, we're gonna start linking up on lineman stuff.
All right.
If you need anything for lineman, man, let me know.
I will, because
Yeah,
got a couple boys who need some work.
I got you. I'll be just hit me up later on.
All right.
10 o'clock.
I'll catch you later. That was Nick's Infinite Podcast.
Oh, and then
episode.
And send that to me too when you get done.
All right, I'll shoot it to you. It's on Twitch, but yeah. This is Nick's Infinite Podcast. That was my boy. And I just forgot the name of that quick. Austin Scott. That was last name Scott. Is it Austin? That's crazy. I'm gonna have to cut this part out. This is why you can't give people nicknames. I called him Scotty in my head, and I called the other dude 8 Ball. That's why it was hard for me to remember the names. But that was satisfying. I'm gonna go edit this and then. Yeah, thanks for watching. This is Nick's Infinite Podcast. I'm out.